Welcome to Bash You Live. Man, it seems like forever since we've been on the live show.
It has been a while, Pete. I mean, man, we've been on the road. We've been knocking out some seminars here. We've done one live show in the past month here, so it's good to be back partially with the group here and do a
Yeah,
little live show.
I know, because we're still not back.
Yeah.
We've got Riz who is on the road. We've got our producer who has been all over the country dealing with some things, and Jocelyn is, we're just fresh back in the office today. I think she's the only one might even be back in the office right now. So we're not even back in our regular studios, but we're glad to be here. And it's just been a whirlwind doing our Bash University seminars. We've seen so many of you guys. It was awesome. So many of our subscribers were live with us. We had some super highlights. We sold out in Texas. We had big rooms in Shreveport and also in Gadsden, and had some brand new speakers. A lot of really strong young talent delivering big, and I think it's really the sport of fishing is, as it evolves, we're working hard to be at the forefront of that evolution. And man, we heard some crazy new stuff that guys are using to catch and win tournaments this year.
Yeah, it's we saw firsthand on the BPT with Connell. Yeah, these seminars this past month was they're pretty good, and it was awesome to sit in and learn firsthand.
Give me your first highlight popping into your mind right now. Number one.
Milliken's Big Bait seminar, which we already released. But the thing that I learned from it was just how the fish can feel, not necessarily see a bait or feel a big bait from so far away.
Right.
In that seminar, there's a clip where Ben throws a 12-inch glide bait, 14-inch glide bait, and as soon as it hit the water in about 20 feet of water, I mean, it went down about 2 foot, and just a group of 3, 4, 5 fish that were all 6+ pounds just drew right up to it. And, their lateral lines, it opened my mind a little bit. And that was pretty interesting to see, just that draw power of a big bait and how those bass use their lateral lines is pretty crazy.
It was great. It was impactful. It's flying off the shelf at Bash University TV, so to speak. So guys are really dialing in and watching that right now. I'm going to stay with you on that seminar, because one of the most impactful things in that particular seminar was, because I'm a tournament guy. Like, I don't really trophy hunt that much. I just, I'm always working on the heaviest 5 and trying not to fall in that trap during a tournament of trophy hunting, which can be the sure death of your tournament a lot of times. Because you might even get the trophy, but you only get one and you don't have anything to go with it. And but Ben, he talks about ego, and he talks about how you got to check that at the door. But the impactful thing was the throwing that bait last to me, versus, if you're a trophy hunter and you're just use brush piles as an example, you're going to roll up on that and you're going to fire that big bait first. And as a tournament angler, you don't want to do that, for fear that if you don't catch that fish out of that brush pile, you will draw a school of fish out of that pile and disperse them, and it could take hours for them to reset. So as a tournament angler, you want to hesitate on that big bait, bring it in as a cleanup tool but in the meantime, pitch in there, drop shot, Demiki style, pick every fish you can out of that group before you go big. that was huge. So many things that we kept hearing. The spinning rod. We're gonna dive in a little bit, but how important the spinning rod, and we're all watching it on live. We saw it with the MLF this past week. The importance, the power of the spinning rod, and the tools that guys are using with forward-facing sonar. But one of the big things that I heard, and we kept hearing over and over again, and we saw it with Scott Martin winning the Open. Congratulations to Scott punching his ticket to the Classic already, first tournament. How awesome must that be? You got a whole season and you're already in the Classic.
No pressure the rest of the season, fish free. Scott's got that advantage going into this elite season for sure.
Yep. But the thing that was impactful to me about that win was the landscape mode. That's what Humminbird calls their technology. I think it's what is it called?
Perspective.
Perspective. The forward-facing mode where you're turning that transducer on its side and you're seeing about a 90-degree swath of habitat in front of you, and you could see the fish setting up in the beds. You could see them fishing for the spawning fish, and I heard that mentioned over and over at every single one of our classes this year, how important that perspective or landscape mode is going to be in fishing this year. And Scott comes right out of the gate just knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, we saw it firsthand watching live. I mean, it was I think that was the first time I really got to actually see, how valuable that could be in grass scenarios and shallow water, man. That seems like a deadly tool, another deadly tool that you need to learn.
And he used the bait caster a lot, although we did see him land an insane fish catch on a spinning rod where he was tied up in the power poles, and I don't know how he got that fish in, but he did. And, but as it turned out, he didn't even need it. I think he won by 21, almost 22 pounds.
Crazy.
Between him and second place. So that was a masterful win, Scott. Congratulations. Scott has been a Bass University instructor on many occasions, so you can go check out all of his content at Bass University. So there was a lot going on there. The tournaments were hot, but our guest today is just a super stud on Rayburn, and where Derrick Mundy and his partner Jason Bonds just won 50 grand. Again, winning big on Rayburn, and I'm excited to have him on the show again. We had him on a couple years ago. You guys might remember he was putting 40-pound bags in the boat. He won a BFL with a 40-pound stringer. He's won a Toyota Series out there with a 39-inch change as part of his 3-day total. Just a phenom when it comes to fishing Texas lakes and catching those giant stringers. And I don't know, I'm going to ask him, but I don't think forward-facing sonar was a factor in this tournament.
No, I
don't think so.
I'm ready to dive in and find out.
Yeah, right. From my understanding, it was done old school tactics and strategies, classic to Rayburn, and the way that we've always caught them down there in the pre-spawn and in amongst the grass, ripping baits out and doing that type of stuff. But I don't know. Maybe perspective mode was a factor. Maybe not. We're going to dive in. This is our team tournament special. I know so many of us fish team tournaments. It's such a fun way to fish and have fun and big energy in the boat. And everybody that, a lot of people, that's all they want to do is just fish team tournaments. So I'm interested in learning more, and I constantly want to dive into that. How do you pick your team tournament partner? Because a lot of times guys fall in that pitfall of, all right, I'm really good at this body of water and you're really good at this body of water. We should team up. And sometimes that doesn't work. That's a recipe for failure sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Definitely. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, you know. I mean, I love fishing team tournaments. I know you do too, Pete. We got to fish one together this fall, which was super fun. And obviously you have fished some with Rich. I fished a ton of team tournaments with Rich. You have to be able to adapt to each other's you know, strengths
Mm-hmm.
and uh bounce ideas off each other and do different things, you know. There's a lot that goes into it.
There really is. Sometimes you got to have one decision maker, and that works. Other times, guys just have good chemistry and
Yeah.
they can, make decisions together. There's just so many factors in making for a very, very good team. Of course, Epic Eric we talked to a lot about, and he's proven to be an amazing team tournament partner. He's his his strategy is about complementing the the boater.
Yep. Yep. Giving them just like, for example, when you're fishing and let's go hit this spot. What do you think about going to this spot? Just being there and giving them good energy. Say, yeah, let's go. I believe in you and
I'm in. Yeah.
I'm in. Let's do it. You know, even if maybe it's not what you're thinking. Like, that spot's it's got beat up today, but bringing that energy, just giving confidence to each other, and it's big.
Yep. Well, these are guys that are winning big, and they've just won a massive tournament on Rayburn. So we're going to dive into that. So you guys have some questions about team tournament fishing and partners. This is your show, and we're excited to have these champs coming on with us. So if you're watching on social, like and share the feed. We got something cool for you. I'm surprised we have any gifts left after we gave away so much stuff at our classes this year.
I know it, man. I know. Shout out Will Davis in Man and Gadsden. He brought a whole bunch of stuff and gave everybody a bunch of Davis baits. That was pretty awesome.
Yep. David Dudley did that too. And Anderson, making sure he hooked everybody up with some of his baits. I love it when our speakers do that, and so many of them do. We appreciate all you guys. So I'm surprised we have anything left indicated to give away, but we do. We're going to we have a like and share prize for you guys as well. So pay attention. We're going to be talking about some stuff with Derrick and Jason, and we got Dan Allen. We got to see Dan Allen live in person in Texas. Our winningest trivia guy in the history of Bass Live.
Yeah, that was awesome. It was great meeting Dan. Man, it was awesome meeting a whole bunch of subscribers. Even at the East Tennessee Fishing Show for me, I met a bunch of longtime subscribers, and at the shows it was pretty awesome. But remember, like and share, $30 Tackle Direct coupon for that winner, and maybe Mundy and Bonds will give away some of their winning baits, and you can go buy them over at Tackle Direct, and then grand prize trivia. Dan Allen, time for a bounce back. $50 Tackle Direct coupon. Let's go.
Awesome. That $50. Let's do it. The big shout out to all of the groups that from the Texas Freshwater Fishery Center for hosting us in Athens, and the Shreveport Bossier City Tourism Group, as well as Anderson, South Carolina, for working with us there, and the city of Gadsden and Bucks Island Marina, helping us come down to Gadsden for the last several years. Several of our subscribers, I think maybe today, are going down there to pick up a new ride from Bucks Island. I'm a little jealous.
They were definitely ready to write a check for a brand new boat. That was pretty cool, Pete.
That was pretty cool. Amazing inventory. I couldn't believe. I still don't know how to get all the boats into that showroom, but somehow they managed.
You could walk across that showroom on the deck of Bass Cats and Skeeters, and everything in between.
That's a fact. If you're in Alabama, go check out Bucks Island. They have everything, every bass boat that you could ever possibly want, model, size, color, you name it, rigging, and an expert at rigging as well, which is such a big deal. And another thing popped into my head. I just got to mention it because I heard it over and over, is that 16-volt delivery system for the forward-facing sonar, guys are stepping up to 16-volt batteries and getting better clarity, eliminating interference, seeing their baits and their targets better. That's something that was new to me. I started hearing guys talking about it a little bit, but there's some complications with it. Does your sonar unit allow for that kind of high voltage or not? But the guys that are able to use it are getting a better, clearer picture. So another big deal that we learned at our classes this year. So, hey, it's our team tournament edition, guys. Glad you're with us. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to be right back with the champs from Sam Rayburn. I think fishing old school. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome to Minnow King. How can I help you?
Everything looks good. I'm friggin' starving, man. Been spawning all morning.
Ugh, TMI, bro. What do you want?
I'll take a Crush City freeloader and gizzard shad.
Anything to drink.
Water.
Pull ahead, please. Welcome to Minnow King.
We're gonna have what he's had.
Yeah, throw me in a net BLT, too.
Pull ahead, please.
Calm down. Quit feeding him so much.
Hey, man, I'm trying to, man.
If you overfeed him, he's going to hide under a log.
In underwater viewing technology. Find what you are looking for. Catch more fish. Have more fun. AquaView. Seeing is believing.
Why do you love catching fishing rods?
I'm truly losing less fish.
Is the sensitivity of the rod.
That they're made right here in North Carolina in the USA.
Strongest, lightest rod, 100% made here in Sanford, North Carolina. From the drop shot rod to the flipping stick. Every rod has a purpose to it, and I rely on them all the time when I'm out there in a tournament.
Durability in the John Cruz Worming series, the counterbalancing in the handle.
It's the only rod I found that can withstand my hook set. Boom goes the dynamite.
On the water not spent fishing is a moment wasted. That's why Minn Kota and Humminbird have joined forces to bring you the One Boat Network. Products that communicate and integrate to help you take full command of your boat. Born from our commitment to making the most advanced fishing gear even better by making it work together. The One Boat Network will help you find, get to, stay on, and catch more fish. When One Boat Network products talk to each other, they can navigate your boat automatically. They can give you a crystal clear view of what's below with no messy wires. And they can let you lower, raise, and change shallow water anchor modes from anywhere on the boat. But that's just the beginning. We're never done innovating, integrating, and making your boat simpler and easier to control. All so you can make every second on the water count.
Welcome back, guys. As I'm scrolling through pictures of the champs that just won. That's our team tournament. This is our team tournament show, guys. So if you're fishing, if you're a team tournament guy, we look forward to talking to you and any questions and ideas and thoughts you might have. This is your show. So much is going on in the team tournament world, and it's amazing what's going on in Texas. And there's giant tournaments. There's guys actually pulling in 6 figures a year fishing team tournament trails in Texas because the prize money is just so amazing. We need that up here, Justin. Come on.
That's what I'm saying, man. Holy moly, we need to get some of that big jack. Let's get a Brandon Belt series on the Upper Chesapeake.
Come on,
let's get it done.
Bring it up here. Well, without any further ado, let's these are the Brandon Belt champs. They won $50,000. They won again on Sam Rayburn, and I'm awful excited to have him with us on today's show. We got Jason Bonds and Derrick Mundy. How are you guys?
Man, doing good. Pretty good.
That's good. It's been a few years since I had you on the show, Derrick. Man, it's been a couple years, but I see you've kept up with your winning ways.
Man, we give it heck for sure.
well, congratulations. It was a big win, and Mike Reed. Shout out to Alabama Mike Reed, been with Bass University for a lot of years, and I was talking to him about this win, and I'm curious. There's a lot. There's so many questions I want to come at you with, but I want to start out with, I guess, with this one. Like, everything is forward-facing sonar. Every tournament's been won. Toledo Bend, we just saw them win there. We saw Scott Martin win with perspective mode down on Lake Okeechobee this past weekend. How about you guys? Was that a factor in your win?
No, we actually left it off most of the time. Like, yeah. I mean, we have all that stuff on our boats, but we felt like we got more bites with it turned off. That's
like the first win that we've heard about in 18 months that is old school. So I'm intrigued. I know there's probably a lot of people cheering that all right, finally somebody's figured a way out to combat the live scopers, the doodle rigs or whatever they are. But man, that's awesome. So you went old school. Like fishing traps, or what was the pattern?
Yeah, I pretty much I kept a trap in my hand, or a Zuma Shaker Z in my hand the whole time. If I lead a lipless, it's hard for me to set it down. Boz likes throwing, some.
I'll throw the tackle box at them. I'll throw everything at them.
Yeah, I'm pretty one-dimensional if they're hitting a lipless.
Is that what they were doing? It was a lipless bite?
For the most part, but we also caught some drag, and we clean it up. We drag a little bit, and he threw some chatterbaits and stuff. But for the most part, it was mostly lipless.
That's all. So you had mentioned like you felt like you were catching more when you turned it off. Do you think that pinging was an interruption?
Man, I just
I feel like it's definitely got a negative effect on them now. Like we're seeing, because we leave it on some to see what's going on, sometimes. But we definitely think it's definitely got a negative effect on them.
Wow. And we knew the lay of the land too. So because I never changed my shading from when the lake come up. So I knew that where I had it set for red, that's where the grass was growing. So we knew that we left the map on, but we left all the sonar and stuff. I turned it off my back graph and everything.
Man, that's interesting. That's phenomenal. What a neat thing, because you had the lake has been low, and like you said, you left the shading on there. My understanding, well, it's been rain. Like we were down in Texas for Bass U. We were hanging out at Athens, and then we went over to Shreveport. We didn't see the sun for like 10 days. Is that you guys had rain coming in, right? It was starting to fill up the reservoir.
It was kind of a perfect storm, if you ask me, because the week before we got, the cold weather, it got that water down there at 40, 42 or so. And when it started raining, I walked outside and seen that the rain was warm. And I was like, well, if we get as much rain as what they're saying we're going to get, it's going to warm that water. I didn't think it was going to warm it as much as it did, because I seen 62 in practice. And it went from 42 to 62, and I would say the average was 55 to 57. So that kind of was a perfect storm, because they went from just being cold to just getting, it was almost like March or April, on them. So they kind of did what they needed to do, set up really good.
That's a massive temperature swing, that warm water coming in, but I'm thinking about it like it's gotta, you had to deal with like water color issues with that extra temperature. I would guess. Were you guys running from the off colored water, or were you going for it?
We kind of stayed in a mix. I mean, we did have some clear areas, but the wind wasn't muddy. The wind took care of the rest, whether it was from blowing across some of the clay points or just moving that muddier water throughout the lake or whatever. But we kind of stayed in a little bit dirtier side of things.
Interesting. Do you think that's what handicapped those scopers? That off-colored water coming in, kind of put them behind the 8 ball?
Man, I think it was more wind. I don't know that the dirtier water affects them too much. I mean, we've heard some of them say that it helps, like, because they're dropping it right on their heads. So.
The wind, I think played a factor. And the other thing, I think, my opinion was just the real big swing in the water temperature. Those fish had no choice but to go. Get up there where you can actually play with them and don't need.
Yeah, there was a lot of gizzard shad made to push super shallow and stuff too. Like, I mean, we caught fish as shallow as a foot of water.
Man, that sounds so much fun. That's what we all dream of when it's our tournament time. We always get the opposite. We get a cold rain, we get falling water. Right. We get fish that were up shallow and now they're getting blasted and pushed who knows where. And you guys have the magic recipe. It reminds me of the record that Dean Rojas set on Toho years ago, which was very similar, where we had a cold front and then we had 90-degree weather at practice leading up to the tournament, and all those fish turned to the spawn like overnight. And that sounds to me like that's what happened to you guys. Those fish, everything was making that shallow water push, and you guys knew exactly what to do.
Oh, absolutely. And I feel like there was a lot of fish kind of just out from those places on piles and different things. And when all that changed, I felt like the fish that was relatively close, they come on to us,
So, man, you did what, man, it's been like fame. It sounds like you just grabbed a trap and went fishing, grass edges and ditches, or what were you fishing?
It's a little mixture of stuff. Like we caught some obviously in the drains, but some of it was kind of on little points of grass. They really kind of seemed like they lacked points a little bit. And, but it's, I don't know, it's just kind of hard to explain it. But just any kind of irregularities kind of in the grass and stuff.
And you were the water had come up. Did that mess with your ability to get your baits down into the grass where you needed to?
So it actually helped because you had to really, really work to fish a trap over the grass before, because it was so close to the surface. So when it jumped, I think it jumped about 3 foot probably.
Yeah,
So it put it perfect.
From the time of that rain, but it jumped.
Because they was wanting it slow anyways, and then whenever we had that extra part of the water column, we was able to really slow that thing down and like that Azuma one, it's got a little bit wider belly, and it just kind of descends kind of on the slower side, and you can just control that depth with it, like in them type situations.
Rayburn red?
Well, they got one called Spring Fling or whatever. It's like super bright, but the water was dirty,
Okay. So what was the name? Which bait was that you were throwing?
That Profound Outdoors, that Zuma Shaker Z.
Okay. Profound. Is that Dudley's deal?
Timmy Hortons.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yep. I just was using those. We were out at Athens. I was just throwing them around for the first time, and we caught a fish. Jocelyn, our Jocelyn who works with us, caught her very first bass on that bait out there in Texas. But
yeah, if you're wanting to fish one slow, I don't know that there's one you can reel any slower and it actually do its job.
No kidding. Was that
I throw a bunch of them.
Half ounce, 3/4?
It's a 5/8, but because it's a little thicker belly on it,
right?
Man, it just don't sink real fast. It like you can just reel that thing just so slow, and I mean it'll sit there and do its what it's supposed to do.
Were you ripping it out of the grass or just trying to keep it down tight?
So I put it on 20, and and I keep my rod up pretty high, and I just try to make it to where I can just barely reel it, and as I touch it, I just kind of just feather it along,
Right.
Just where you're barely just touching it, and as soon as you quit feeling it, you kind of you just kind of just let it fall and just start just real slow roll it, and they just load up on it.
Do you think that was like, it sounds like you really had to work hard to trigger the bites? You think it was because they were so new in the shallows, like they were kind of, difficult to trigger?
I
guess,
the weather
but
changed. I think the weather changed. Saturday and Sunday, the weather changed from Thursday and Friday. I think because Thursday and Friday you didn't have to work.
No, you didn't. It was pretty.
It was good Thursday and Friday.
It was like,
but Saturday and Sunday. Saturday you had to work a little bit harder than you did Thursday or Friday, but Sunday you had to work real. Saturday it was about 50-50 on the bites.
Right.
Sunday I couldn't get bit.
Wow.
I couldn't get bit. Derrick could get bit, and I couldn't. I think I got one bite, and then later, caught one of the main ones, but. Like for the most part, I could not get bit Sunday. Saturday it was about 50-50.
So what happened? Did he start getting cold again?
It's just the weekend.
Yeah,
I blame it on the weekend. They're smart.
Yeah, I mean that north wind started blowing. That's the reason a lot of stuff got dirty. So yeah, it was it did drop. The air temperature did drop, and the water temperature did drop about another 3 degrees. It did get down to the lower to mid 50s.
Our watercolor did get dirtier also.
Yeah, watercolor got a little bit dirtier.
I got you. Well, it's dynamic weather that time of year. It got warm. The water came in, and then it started getting cold on you guys. But that was a nice adjustment to be able to work. Find that bait that you can work the slowest to keep those fish going. I guess that made the difference for you guys. Were the top finishers doing what you guys were doing, or do you even know what the other guys, how they caught their fish?
I'm pretty sure Darren and them probably caught him shallow. He's known to be pretty shallow, but after that, I don't.
Third place, yeah, they was 100%.
I think the majority of the bigger fish were caught.
Yeah,
shallow. They made those big ones went up there and they started checking things out.
Yeah,
for sure. It was the perfect storm for us. I think those ones, it was just out there kind of on some of that brush and just natural cover and stuff that was kind of in the mouths of these bays and stuff. I think they went on in there when because I mean the day after it rained, I caught them in the back of places that was dry ground before, and I felt like I should have been able to see those fish. I was catching them so shallow.
Man, they'll move fast.
They move fast. I mean, they was there waiting on the rain to quit.
That's pretty awesome. Well, look, you guys are fishing in a group of hammers, and everybody there knows how to do what you guys do. Sort of, you know what I mean? What do you think separated you guys? Because it looks like a lot of guys were up fishing shallow.
I think scope separated us because I think so many people's trying to do that.
Yeah, it left it. It was like a wide open highway in places that shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
So in other words, like all the shallow water habitat that usually gets pounded wasn't getting pounded, and it was open for you guys.
Correct. There's places like I was like, man, this will be a bonus if we get to hit it. Like I was like, we ain't gonna get to hit it. We rolled up there, and I was like, we're gonna get to hit it.
That's a ghost town.
I mean, there's not a boat in sight, and I was like, well, we're
gonna
start here then.
But I really think think scope helped us, forward facing, definitely it helped us in this tournament. We didn't use it, but there's a lot of other people.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a major player. People ain't dumb. They're gonna adapt, and
they think that's the only way you can win.
Right.
So people's going to do it. And I mean, we've talked about it. Like we do it a little bit, but I'm no good at it. I wish it would go away.
I know a lot of people feel that exact same way. And Hunter Shryock he just gave a seminar at Bass U, and he's like, I'm committed to shallow. He's just committed to it. John Cox is one of those guys, and Greg Hackney was saying, with the new technology, the banks have never received less pressure than they do right now.
My problem is like, how do you make that work on a team tournament? Because, man, I don't want to sit back there and just throw in the wide blue yonder and watch him catch them. I mean, heck, I want to catch some too, you know. That's my deal. How does that work on a team event? Like, I don't know how those guys are doing that, because I can't sit there and not do nothing. And you're in that guy's way that's up there. Like, you can't both be up there trying to throw at you. I mean, you'd be all tangled up. And
you got to be real good friends to be able to do that.
Oh yeah, and when people start catching fish, I mean, I want my part of it too.
Yep. Well,
that's what I love about it.
Yep. It's interesting because we talked with some guys that are having a lot of success at the college level, right? And that's all they're doing. Like, most of the new kids are all coming in doing that way, and they'll stand up there together and they'll try to pick off two fish, you know, and you throw at this one, I'll throw at this one, kind of thing. Here's something insightful for the guys, because like in team tournaments, it's one thing, but when you're doing like a Toyota series where you got a co-angler and, you know, he's back there like, well, what the heck am I going to throw at? Well, Jay Shakir came up with a strategy. Is best thing in the world these days for a co in that scenario is to just put that Demiki rig on and fish it around the back of the boat, you know, because you're around the fish. If your boater is targeting some isolated fish, there's other fish around, and you just fish for those, and you'll have your best success with a Demiki rig. But I can appreciate it, man. Like, it had to be so much fun just getting up there, jacking them old school, you know, like, I can't believe nobody's in this pocket or nobody's on this stretch.
No, absolutely. That
had to be so much fun.
Oh, absolutely.
This was one of the more fun tournaments
that's what's so hard for me to go learn how, to really put time in live scooping. Like, this is the premier time of year, and there is nothing I'd rather do than throw a lipless crankbait.
Yeah.
That is 100% my favorite way to fish, and I feel like I have to give that up to go live scope. And I'm just not ready yet, you know.
I'm with you. Have you like that perspective mode is becoming a bigger factor? We keep hearing people talk about it up in the shallows in the grass, to help guys, you know, when they're up there in that water. Have you guys played around with that much?
We've got it, but I'm not gonna, you know, I think that forward facing has more of a player than that. You know, you can kind of see some stuff on it, but if you ask me, I would say the forward facing you're better off with that than the.
If you had to pick.
Yeah, if you had to pick, you know, one.
Yep. I wonder about that trap. We're gonna, you know, it's also new to me. I'm still learning it and growing. A lot of us are, but that's fun listening to you guys talk about it. So they're pulling up pre-spawn. You're using 20-pound. You're using fluoro, I'm assuming?
Yes, I use Cigar and Vizex, 20-pound. My favorite line size with a trap, honestly, is 17. But with you know, I needed that bait. I needed that bait slower, and in the ride higher, so I went with 20-pound 4-carb. But I will throw it on mono with braid if I need it to ride even higher. You know.
Yeah. What about your rod and your reel?
So I use a Castaway 7.3 heavy. I mean, it's a good parabolic rod, but I got enough meat, and I use a Corrado 7-1 is what I use. But I think on trap rod, you kind of got to pick the perfect one. Like that rod right there is perfect for me. But I feel like you have to use one to where you like because you got it up like this and you're popping it and trying to clean it. Like some people would be better off with a little bit longer rod, or I think you got to find a happy medium to where you're just barely getting it out of the grass, but you got a soft enough rod for a triple hook bait, you know. And that rod's perfect for me. I know some people use like broomsticks, but man, once you got them hooked up, if you're not real disciplined on letting them have it a little bit like that, you'll lose. You just barely get them around the face, you know, with that much stiffer rod.
Yeah. What about treble hooks? Are you round bend or are you a different kind?
Man, I like round bends on a trap. I don't. Man, I could see putting EWGs on maybe if you was around some timber or something to help keep from hanging. But I feel like I missed way too many fish on a EWG hook.
Is who's the better net man?
I don't know. We both get our share of it at times.
Any mishaps? Did you guys have any losses this week?
No, not that. I did foul hook one, I think I bumped it. I never had it much, but I come back with a nice scale on there. But and that's another reason I like using the round bends. I'd have never even had a chance with the EWG on that. But we fished for the most part. We didn't lose anything that counted.
Man, well, that's often the case, right? When you get the win, things kind of go your way. But that's man. Well, congratulations on a great win. Now, you guys have been fishing together for a few years. I know at least. How long have you been fishing together?
This will be our third year. Yeah. The end of this season will be our third year.
Now, one of the trickiest parts that we were talking about it a little bit earlier is finding a team partner that works. Sometimes you can be too bullheaded, with each other, making decisions, and two good guys getting in the boat together can also be a disaster. But how did you guys find each other?
I don't even really know how we kind of found each other, but team tournament, it's you see teams that go through it, they'll be together a year or two, and it's like you said, maybe too bullheaded, or don't want to listen to your partner. I've fished with some really good guys. I used to fish with Todd Castledine and Russell Cecil's cousin or nephew, whatever, but we fished together about 6 or 7 years, and he was a really good team partner. Neither one of us, whatever the other one wanted to do, that's what we do. We it was never, individual, decision. It's just kind of a team decision. I think that's kind of what we do here. We just kind of, hey, trust in the other one, a little bit. A lot of times the other one, the other team partner, they want to be known for something, or whatever. They don't want to give the reins to somebody, and somebody, we just want them in the box. Hey, what do you think about this? Okay, well, hey, I don't have a better idea. Let's go do that. So I think it's you got to trust in your team partner 100%, whether it's me, making a decision or him making a decision. Just if he makes a decision, hey, yeah, let's go.
And when you got to understand when the other one's got the hotter hand too. I feel like that's part of it. Like when you feel like he's got the his hand in or something like that, you just kind of sit back and
his decision.
You got to understand that within the other person.
Make the wrong decision or either. That's like Sunday.
Because sometimes
I couldn't catch a fish. I could not catch a fish. And Derrick, I was like, hey, you take it. And then later in the day, I was like, hey, we just want to go do this one deal.
Mm-hmm.
This one deal. And it caught the key fish, and that's the only fish I caught all day. But
you got to understand who's got the hot hand to ride it. Because when we do bad is whenever we both just don't have a clue. But you know what I mean? Like we do real bad then. But I think that's part of it. You got to, and we talk out loud a lot, and I mean, we don't necessarily argue. We'll be like, no, man, I don't know about that or something. But it's all in a good way,
You talk through it. You know, you kind of just talk through it. You're bouncing ideas off each other, a lot. That helps me think about different things because sometimes I'll be going one way. He may be talking about something else and just say one little thing. I'm like, okay, I got an idea. We got to go try it. Or hey, it may be the same way for him. He's got an idea. Let's go do it.
Yeah, somebody listening to us on the bank probably trying to get us admitted somewhere.
Yeah, sure.
That's all. Well, that's awesome. I'd like to be in the boat. I'd like to hear that dialogue. So that's what I'm hearing. Is like check your ego at the door.
Yeah, we don't like right. Absolutely.
And that's what you guys seem to do. I like that. You got to be that way about the hot hand, because for whatever reason, it just happens that way where one guy just, I don't know, the retrieve speed or
that's 100%.
Whatever it is, he just is getting bit, man. You gotta step out of the way, give up the trolling motor and say, let's go.
That's right.
I think more so like on that lipless, man. It's crazy how just something just so small, even a color. I had my kid beat me, like he was like 9 years old, and he was beating me, and we was fishing the Bill Lewis track tournament together, and I was like, man, why? Like he's beating me, and he's just chunking and winding it back. He shouldn't be catching. He shouldn't be beating me like this, And I take one off the hook for him, and I got to realize that his was more orange than mine. And that day, it made a difference. I started digging through them, and I found one that had as much orange on it as his, and then I started catching them, But it's little things like that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and being able to work together and just that's tremendous. Being able to complement each other. Like so often, so many times you can butt heads and it goes in a negative way. So being able to work together is key. You came up like you're struggling to catch fish, Jason, and what was the one deal?
We lose you?
What did you do that that got you that bigger fish?
Well, we made one decision. We made one decision, went to one kind of spot. And I guess maybe it's the third or fourth throw or whatever, but that was it. Just
was it
one bite.
Kind of pattern, or was it a different bait or different tool?
No, it was completely different bait. It was completely different bait. I mean, we were dragging, so
okay,
on a spot.
Yeah, it's got just one little old. It's kind of a shallower hard spot or whatever, and it was just like if you get bit, it dried,
That's awesome. You got the bite you needed and got the W.
Oh yes, sir.
So you guys are tournament partners. There's a lot of money to be won in Texas. Is this all you guys are going to do from now on? You're just going to bump around and win $50,000 every time out of the gate and quit the jobs? What are you guys doing?
Oh no, we might ought to keep the job on standby.
Yeah. It's nice to win, win a big one. We've been fortunate enough, like we ever going into our third year, I guess we've won 3 big ones, each.
Yeah, we've won each year.
Won a big one each year. So that helps. The other 2 have come later in the year, you start, towards the end of the tournament season, so you're wondering, dang, are you going to get a win? You kind of need, in my opinion, you need a big one to, get you through the year, whatever, especially, fishing. So we got this one early in the year, so hopefully it's, better things
keep
come.
The ball rolling.
That's right.
Heck yeah. Momentum is huge in the sport. This Brandon Belt tournament trail is awesome. I mean, you get a bass cat for the points champ, it looks like. How cool. I mean, you guys live there, so you know how cool it is, but it's got to be awesome to be able to fish these high-level tournaments, all around lakes, and your area. Texas is, man, it's between Toledo Bend and Rayburn. You probably can make a living there.
Yeah, if you're good enough. The competition, though, is getting better and better, and then it just gets harder every year. Like, because people's paying attention to you, too. Like, they're kind of learning off of what you're doing and some of the stuff that you had.
Things have changed.
Right.
The fishermen, their mindset have changed over the years. They, to me, it's a negative effect on it, without going into the whole deal. But people definitely pay attention to you way more than what they used to. You can, I mean, you ask Todd, he's made a living at it, just here and kind of ventured out a little bit, but he's made a decent, living at just staying out here fishing, and traveling a little bit too. But the fishermen, in my opinion, they're changing the sport. I think it's coming to, it's hard to have anything to yourself anymore.
Yeah, because they'll come looking for you.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, because we was catching those bigger bags, 3 or 4 years ago, because nobody knew about this stuff. And now it's all community holes. So to keep up and keep winning, you have to keep, getting better and keep evolving, finding new ways to catch them all the time. That's the trickiest part.
That's the hardest part. It's the hardest part of fishing, knowing that you I'm not saying nobody else can find some of this, some of this stuff or anything else, but it just seems like as soon as you find it, you may have it for a couple of tournaments, 2 or 3 times. It turns around and somebody else shows up, and or a couple other. It's just it gets, and that'll get into your head.
Mm-hmm.
That will get into your head a lot. I know we've struggled with it. Like making a decision off of what we think somebody else is going to do, on that may know about it or whatever, and a lot of times I think it's the wrong decision when we do that.
Our best tournaments has been when we're like, heck with it, and we just whatever's open, just land on it and just go from there, and just don't even worry about it.
Yeah, you can't worry about it, and you're right. You got to evolve. Like back, in the 1700s when I was fishing, we could find something and you could keep it for a while, and I see what you're saying, and I know it. I experience it. We see it on the pro level and everywhere in between. You can't keep things to yourself for. Man, even a few tournaments, it seems, and pretty soon, the word gets out, or people are spying, or like you said, they're out there watching, and you can't. You're right. You got to keep evolving every single day.
It's hard, and when there's 30 pounds sitting on a spot, it's so hard not to you wonder, if so-and-so, golly, they're going to try to beat us to that or whatever. It works on you. It weighs on you pretty hard. That's why it's so much fun this last weekend. We could just forget about it and do it the old-fashioned way,
Yeah, it's almost like, you need to keep practicing through your tournament and just, cycling through some of your key areas that you've done in the past. It's changing all the time. Guys are. How many boats are in that Brandon Belt tournament?
I think it's 147 or 148 in this one.
Okay.
Some of the others, you take Triple T, Bass Champs. Some of them other ones, you're 200 plus. Say that 250. There's been champs before, and some of the Triple T's have been over 300.
I mean, you got no chance of getting on a spot with 300 boats in a tournament.
Yeah, it's hard. It's real hard fishing. Yeah, even as big as Rayburn is, you still put 300 boats, on a even 200, 250. It starts getting tight.
No kidding. I mean, 100. That's a big body of water, so it can eat up 100 boats or
easy
150 boats. But man, those bigger tournaments. I mean. I don't know how have you been involved or seen any of these high school derbies where they have 500 and 600 boats?
Oh, it's wild. They love to put those on our 200 boat tournaments.
So it'll be 800, and then you'll have 3 other, that's got 30 or 40 tournament, boats in it. So and then it can get crazy.
It looks like the Sealy Big Bass Splash out there.
Oh my gosh. I can't imagine it in a tournament like that. I imagine if you find an area that you can even fish by yourself, I guess you just stay there because you can't leave.
See, that's what hurts too, is when there's so many boats on the lake. We pass up stuff and won't even fish it because there's just too many people that'll see you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just have to just like throw the towel in on the tournament.
And it's you know what's so bad is like sometimes you just need to give those fish a break. You may know where they're at. You may know exactly. You need to leave to give them an hour break, and then you could come back there and definitely upgrade. You know, but as soon as you go to stroll off, somebody else is coming. You know, going to keep that bed warm for you.
Yeah, man, I know exactly what that's like. I fish in the opens with a 220 boat field. It's you got to learn that your top 5 areas you want to start are probably gone. You know, so you're going to try to make money or win the tournament on spot 6, 7, 8, or 9. You know, yeah,
that's funny. You go in on some of them high school kids, and they'll be fishing over here, and so you'll go down this bank, and the boater he'll pick up a rod, start throwing at you, try to keep you away from the whole thing. You know, they'll be throwing everywhere. The boater, he just sits back there and throws, or the boat captain, he'll start throwing at people, just keeping them away. It's wild out there.
It's the Wild West. I think it's great to see it so enthusiastic. You know, I wish we had it when I was a kid. You know. But those giant tournaments, it's amazing. And the college programs too, they're really exploding. And it's interesting that they're team tournaments, you know. That's all team tournament format driven stuff where, you know, guys have to learn to work together. I wonder, you know, I wonder what the lesson is there. You know, those kids, the coaches are, you know, they have to teach them a little differently because it's not individual. You know, you got to learn to get some kids that maybe are strong in one area and they complement each other. You know.
Oh, absolutely. Just
like you guys do, Justin. I know you're still with us. I know we got a lot of people watching on the IM board. You got some questions for the guys? As Justin scrambles to turn his mic on, I imagine.
I'm back. So one question that I saw and I had myself is, how do you guys practice for a team tournament? Do you guys fish out of the same boat together? Do you guys each go out on your own boat and dissect the list that way? How do you guys approach that in practice?
Yeah, we both take our own boats or whatever. I feel like he's got his way he wants to do stuff, and I've got mine, so I feel like we do better.
That's
in practice
100%,
apart.
100%.
Because our brains work differently,
yeah.
You know.
If I go do what he's doing, like I'm not going to like, and vice versa. If he goes does what I like, no, you got to go do your own thing,
right?
And then see, hey, this is a more dominant deal. Let's start off doing this, and if this fails, let's jump to yours, and then meet somewhere in the middle, you know, or ride that more dominant deal, or whatever that is. If you try to do what your team partner's doing, if he calls you up and it's like, hey, I'm blasting on doing this, and you go to try to do it, a lot of times you're not going to catch it. You're just not, because he knows he's got the retrieve down. He knows exactly what he's looking at. You know, you can even say, hey, 10 foot of water on points of grass. Well, it may be, you know, 3/4 in the back of a cove or out on the front of the, you know, a main lake point. You know, you're just going to look at it completely different. I don't look at the things exactly. We fish a lot alike, some,
but a lot different.
But a lot different too. A lot of the places that he's caught them, I've caught them, but it's completely different, and vice versa. You know, just completely different. And I think that's what another thing that makes a good tournament, you know, team partner is that, you know, he can go do his own thing, and you meet in the middle somewhere, try to, you know.
How many days would you practice for a tournament?
Man, it varies. There's so much off limits and stuff, or needing to be on a different lake, or just work obligations and stuff. Like, it's hard to say. Like, I feel like we ain't hardly fished at all this year, you know, other than the little bit of practice, official practice of the tournament and the tournament, because we both got, I mean, between off limits and stuff going on, like I feel like I've got the least amount of time in this year than I probably ever have.
I know I don't get to fish near as much as I used to, you know. I used to get to fish a lot, but, you know, work, things like that, you just don't get get to do it like, could.
I got a great question here from diehardanglers.com. How often do you guys disagree? And well, do you guys ever get into that? Like, no, we can't do this.
I think we disagree like
a lot,
but it's not in a bad way.
Okay,
yeah, it's a positive way. You can disagree. I think that's the deal. I don't think a lot of people don't understand is you can disagree. I don't agree with everything he says, but I trust him to make the right decision, and he trusts me to make the right decision. We'll disagree on something like, hey, let's go hit grass. I'm like, no, I want to go.
Like, I think disagreeing is actually more healthy than it is just agreeing.
If I went right along with him every time,
we just go in robot mode.
That's right. I don't think you may disagree with me, but I don't think we would have won every tournament, like the 3 big tournaments we've had.
No, our decision making has definitely been
a team deal, and it comes off a decision he's made or a decision.
Yeah, that's why we do good is whenever one of our decisions, like we'll get a spin off. He'll spin something off of maybe something I did or vice versa and all that, and then it just I don't know, it just flows during the tournament time. It's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah, well, you explained it well. How you guys are able to work through that conflict as a benefit and not a detriment. That's fantastic. Dan Allen, shout out to Dan Allen. Good to see you in Texas, buddy. Has a question. Have you guys seen the tournament guys? Like you mentioned it before, where you don't want to fish forward facing sonar because only one guy can do it. But there's those pole mounts where guys are using handheld controls at the console or even in the rear. Are you seeing your competition do that kind of stuff where there's 2 units being used at the same time?
No, I haven't, but I'm sure it's coming.
I heard it. The first time I heard about this was the other day.
Okay.
And this was like 2 days ago. I've been going to tell you, I've absolutely forgot. But no, I haven't. I just heard about it the other day. Somebody said, "Oh, yeah, some of them co-anglers can strap that to your boat, or whatever, and they can, I don't know how I feel about that."
I mean, heck, I think if we both had one and we was live scoping, man, we'd be so tangled up, hooked each other. It'd probably be a bad deal.
Yeah, you can't. He can't follow. I mean, maybe you see a fish over there, but he can't.
Follow.
Which fish are you gonna follow? Which fish are you gonna kind of go at?
Yeah, somebody's going to the ER. I think after like somebody's getting bad hooked.
We've seen. I've seen some co-anglers. They've asked the questions that come to our class. Like, do you think the boater would be mad if I brought my own portable forward-facing unit, to fish off the back of the boat?
Yep. I'll tell him nope.
I don't know how you mount it to the boat without scratching it and this and that, and then like I run and gun a lot. I can't. Like when I'll be like, hey, last cast, I kind of expect them to be kind of tidying up.
Yeah.
By the time I get the pole up, I don't need them, folding that thing up, kind of stow it. And I might lose my
because you even, some co-anglers are really good. Some of them are. I've had some really good ones where you tell them, hey, last cast.
Yeah, more than
they've already got their life jacket on. They're sitting down ready to go. And then you get some that is, God, I don't have any hair left to pull out because I've already pulled it all out, But if you throw that in the mix, you may be sitting there another 2 or 3 minutes, and that's maybe 2 or 3 throws on a spot, or something. That may be the 2 or 3 minutes I can get to a spot before the next guy gets there.
Well, I thought you had hair. Can we see?
No, we ain't seen it.
I need 5 minutes. I just need to wrap up my wiring harness, which I have rigged to your batteries back there. Give me 1 minute. I'll be ready to go.
Yeah, that just sounds like a disaster.
Not happening.
What do you got, Justin?
Man, before we let you guys go, I just got to know, for how many days did you guys wear these belts after you won them? And, how cool did that feel to win a freaking belt? Along with who cares about the 50 grand? It's all about that belt there, man.
That's right.
It is about the belt, that that belt was pretty dang cool.
It's pretty sweet. It's a lot heavier than it looks too. They did it's legit.
Yeah,
for real. Awesome. They went all they go all the way out, for that tournament. It's the best tournament I feel like we fish.
Yeah.
What's it like? What are the weigh-ins like? What do they do so well?
Man, I don't know. I think it's just a group of people. Brandon's cool. I mean, he's there every chance he gets, when he's not playing baseball. And I don't know. It's just a great crowd.
It's a good atmosphere. It's a real good atmosphere. It's a very good RAN tournament. They try to get you in there and get you out, weighing your fish. Brandon, I think he's got some pretty good ideas about what he wants to do with this thing. I think he wants to eventually start branching, maybe grow this thing to.
And I feel like the fishermen are the first priority.
Yeah.
It ain't looked at as it's like we're customers or whatever. Like we're the priority, in that tournament. I mean, it's going. I think there's going to be some good things become of it in the future.
Is it televised? Is any of it live? Was there?
They are streaming it. I think. Well, I think they do put it on.
It's on the outdoor or the.
I think it's the outdoor channel and something else. Channel. Yeah, maybe the Pursuit channel.
But on that outdoor action, you can watch some of the tournaments we fished last year.
What were the cameras in your boat, or are they just televised in the way?
Last year.
Yeah, they'll throw one in there with you a little bit when you're doing good. We had a cameraman a couple of times. They just put them in there briefly, for a little bit and catch a few, and then
they didn't do it. They didn't do it this time just because we were.
So I don't know if they did it this time or not. I've never seen a camera.
No, they did.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they put them in someone's boat, but we were 8th or 9th or 10th place after day one.
Yeah, talking about like us talking out loud and stuff like that. We forget they're back there. We had a guy that I guess he was Pigman's cameraman for some years or whatever. He's like cool. He's like from New York or something. And like we just forget he was back there every now and then because he was so quiet, and then he just started laughing at us, because we're both mic'd up, so I mean we're whispering and stuff, and he can hear us word for word, and I think he had a better time than we did, just listening to us.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, that is great hardware. It's all about the hardware.
We lost Pete. It's all about the hardware.
Yeah. That's right.
Are there any other big derbies coming up for you guys?
We got Triple T, and then so we got Triple T not this Saturday, but next, and the Toyota that week, and then the second belt on Lake Conroe. So those 7 days right there we're gonna be tired after that.
Yeah. Are you guys allowed to fish with anybody else? I heard there's some strict rules for teams in Texas about guys switching partners.
We can't be doing all that.
It's like some guys do it, but like it's one of those deals. You gotta be committed with the one guy. If not, if you do got some secrets, it kind of goes to the next one, so.
When I made my profile in fisherman only, I put, hey, look, only one partner,
Yeah.
Yep. Well, that's awesome, guys. I wish you best of luck. I look forward to having you back on again about the next win or the next 40-pound bag. I don't know what the heck you guys are going to be doing next, but I'm sure it's going to be something big.
Man, I hope so. I'd love to be back on here.
Well, we love having you, man. It's Texas is just most of our subscribers come from Texas, believe it or not. Yeah, it's awesome. We love coming down there, and we, like I said, we got a chance to fish Lake Athens this year, and we just had some share lunkers come in.
Justin.
I mean, they just keep piling in. OH Ivy's crushing it, but that's kind of, I don't know if you guys got, it's a little fuzzy for me, Justin, but
we got it on this side.
Yeah, will we get Ben?
Yeah,
Ben had a big one, and 13 plus pounders. They just keep coming in. It must be nice being able to fish in places where you're catching double-digit fish all the time.
I wish it was all the time.
Yeah.
But they live out there. They're not easy to catch, but I mean, it's got them. It's definitely got them.
I was looking at the tournament results. You had several double-digit bass come in this tournament.
Oh, absolutely. They pushed up there to where I guess
you could catch. They could
a
be
lot
caught,
of them. We did have a lot of open water, but it pushed up there to where like a lot of the people that like to fish shallow could catch them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was maybe three or four over 10 caught in that tournament.
We never caught one. I think our biggest one was like a 6-pounder. We never run into a real big one.
Mm-hmm. Justin, next year we got to do Rayburn, Toledo, Fork, Ivy, and then we'll finish up at Athens.
That sounds good to me, Pete. I'm all in on that.
I know all our guys are, man, but like you said, thanks so much for coming on, man. It's a blast hanging out with you guys, and just keep us posted on how things are going. Send us some pictures of some of them big stringers you're catching, some double digits. We'll put them up on our social channels. But thanks so much. Congrats again, and good luck finding a spot to hang that hardware on your wall.
That's right.
you might have to build a new room.
That's right.
Yeah, I think my kids done stole my belt. My youngest boy's done laid claims to it. He wants to hang it up in his room.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Hey guys, thanks so much, man. We'll see you soon on Bass University Live. Good luck the rest of the season.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Y'all have a good
one. Guys.
Wow. Just keep winning, man. That looks so much fun, man. Justin, they were just like, the water's warming, the water level's coming up. We're going up. We're just going to fish traps in the grass. Man. Oh my gosh. That's so much fun.
So fun. I'm itching, Pete. I'm ready to go throw trap around and lean into some 3, 4, and 5 pounders. Not no Texas 12s, but
hey,
that's awesome. Got me jacked up to fish some team derbs this year.
We got plenty of 6-pounders in our part of the country. 10s are uncommon, but it's going to be trap season. If it's not here already, it's going to be here.
Yep.
Pretty darn soon. Yep,
for sure. What do you say we do a commercial break? I'll put in the grand prize trivia question. I'll write it out in the chat board for BassU.tv, and then when we come out of the break, we'll pick the winner for that. The like and share and recap a couple other things.
Sounds good, my friend. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome to Minnow King. How can I help you?
Everything looks good. I'm friggin' starving, man. Been spawning all morning.
Ugh, TMI, bro. What do you want?
I'll take a Crush City freeloader and gizzard shad.
Anything to drink.
Water.
Pull ahead, please. Welcome to Minnow King.
We're gonna have what he's having.
Yeah, throw me in a net BLT, too.
Pull ahead, please.
Calm down. Quit feeding him so much.
Hey, man, I'm trying to, man.
If you overfeed him, he's going to hide under a log.
And underwater viewing technology. Find what you are looking for. Catch more fish. Have more fun. AquaView. Seeing is believing.
Why do you love casting fishing rods?
I'm truly losing less fish.
It is the sensitivity of the rod.
That they're made right here in North Carolina in the USA. Strongest, lightest rod, 100% made here in Sanford, North Carolina.
From the drop shot rod to the flipping stick, every rod has a purpose to it, and I rely on them all the time when I'm out there in a tournament.
Durability in the John Cruz Worming series, the counterbalancing in the handle.
It's the only rod I found that can withstand my hook set. Boom goes the dynamite.
On the water, not spent fishing is a moment wasted. That's why Minn Kota and Humminbird have joined forces to bring you the One Boat Network. Products that communicate and integrate to help you take full command of your boat. Born from our commitment to making the most advanced fishing gear even better by making it work together. The One Boat Network will help you find, get to, stay on, and catch more fish. When One Boat Network products talk to each other, they can navigate your boat automatically. They can give you a crystal clear view of what's below with no messy wires. And they can let you lower, raise, and change shallow water anchor modes from anywhere on the boat. But that's just the beginning. We're never done innovating, integrating, and making your boat simpler and easier to control. All so you can make every second on the water count.
And we're back. Pete, let me tell you something.
Talk to me.
So Dan Allen is a wizard. We all know that. So the trivia question that's on Bass U TV. If you're a subscriber, head over there to win the grand prize. See if you can beat Dan Allen, because this man is a legend and you can't beat him. The trivia question was, what was the key bait, the exact brand, and the exact color that helped that duo win $50K? And Dan Allen, seconds later, the Zumba Shaker Z, Timmy Horton, and Spring Fling, 5/8 ounce, round bed treble hooks, 20-pound Seaguar Vizex, Castaway 7.3 heavy, and a Corrado 7-1. So that just shows you guys Dan's always taking notes and he's always winning. So if you can,
damn,
he is a legend over there. And so congrats, Dan. You win a Tackle Direct gift card, and our like and share winner, I lost them. Bobby Phelps is our like and share winner. So Bobby, send an email to the dean's office at thebassuniversity.com, and we'll get you taken care of with the Tackle Direct coupon as well. And Pete, I love our new commercial. I love that Crush City commercial. Cracks me up every time. And man, Crush City 2024 already attributed to a pro level win here. Look at that.
It's the freeloader and a new Crush City bait that's going to be released real soon. Dustin Cannell just absolutely schooled the field on how to fish that technique. Fishing it through look like some timber, and just crushing it on Toledo Bend, where the elites are going to be shortly. And that was a great win for him. Just pulling away with it. But I wonder, I guess they're going to crash the banks there by the time the elites get there. What do you think?
I hope so. I hope we see some different stuff going on. It seemed like a whole lot of Demiki rigging in that event on the BPT. I know Zach Burge was doing a little jerk baiting, so that was cool to see. But man, I hope they pull up shallow and them boys start catching them up shallow on some lipless and some spinner baits. And I don't know, Pete, what do you think?
I think it's going to be a fun exercise. Like I said, we saw Hunter talk about the fact that he's not going out; he's staying up. And I know there's going to be a bunch of guys that are of that like-minded mentality. I think this is going to be the year of the because everybody's like thinking it's all going to be forward-facing this year, but I think we're going to see a mix. I honestly think we're going to see some guys that are persistent in fishing shallow. They still may be using forward facing in landscape mode this time when they're up like that. But I think we're going to see some of that dynamic fishing this year. It's going to be fun to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's either going to be all live scoping, or it could be a lot of 360 in perspective mode. We're right on the edge of a lot of these events. Are it could be really pre-spawn. They could be spawning. That this weather this time of year can really change things up quick. And so hopefully that weather puts them up shallow and we get some good events.
Makes it fun for us. I want to give some shout outs to a couple people. Alton Jones Jr. or Senior. I'm not sure who we had in Texas. We had one of those guys, but shout out to Cortland Line. I know Alton is new to the Cortland pro staff family, and it's great to have him on board. Such a talented angler. And if you haven't tried Cortland Line, guys, you go over to your pro member benefits and take advantage of the great discount that Cortland provides. You're going to love this line. It fishes incredibly well. I'm the high vis is what me and Jake use constantly. And I'll go up to 15 pound on my spinning rod. I love it. The castability of 15-pound braid is phenomenal. So go check it out.
They got some cool colors coming out too. Some cool prototype colors that are coming out. I saw Alton was throwing this new purple color. Looked pretty cool. So
yeah,
that's right. Remember Benefits. Got some Cortland line.
Yeah, check it out. I also want to give a big shout out to Brooks from Montevella University and the LSU bass fishing team. They were with us in Shreveport. Of course, Montevella was with us just recently down in Gadsden. We have a lot of times we get the college kids coming and working with us. We love meeting the kids that are involved in these programs from around the country. So if you're on one of the college teams, reach out to us through our customer service support on social. We'd love to work with you guys on our upcoming classes this year, and we have a lot of things going on with the Classic and as well as at ICAST this year. But those guys were fantastic. Thank you guys for being there. Love being part of their associated with their programs. Both great programs. Montevella just consistently battling for number one, and LSU I think is ranked 6th or 7th in the nation so far.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah, Montevella, man. Brooks is a hammer, man. Him and his partner, they got some big tournaments coming up. Brooks was saying, so best of luck to them. And yeah, it was so cool seeing in Texas how many young anglers were there for that one. Liberty Hill, I'm rocking the hat. They had, man, Pete, how many kids did they have there? 10, 15 at our event. It was awesome to see how big those high school Texas clubs are. Man, I wish I had something like that in my high school growing up. That was pretty awesome. And here's something even cooler, Pete. I don't know if you remember this young gentleman that came to our Anderson, South Carolina class, but I do. And he sent in a picture to us this week, and he is our sub of the week. And this is Logan, man, rocking his Bashu hat that he got with us in Anderson, South Carolina, and catching some pigs on Lake Hartwell. So that's pretty awesome. Man, I'm sure he learned some stuff at that event and put it to use on Hartwell. He's a hammer, and that was awesome to see. He sent that in, rocking his new Bashu hat. That was a week or two after our Anderson, South Carolina event, and that's awesome.
That is awesome. He must have learned a lot in that class. He did,
man. Putting the hammer down.
Yep. Shout out to Howie Range hanging out with us from the American Outdoor Show. I believe that's in Harrisburg. That's like one of the old outdoor shows in forever. And what's up, Tuck and Rusty Sandals? Appreciate BMF, all you guys. St. Chris hanging out with us today. We're going to be back with another edition of Bass University Live next week. Well, you guys are going to be mobile, I think, next week, right? Are you guys going to be in Texas next week?
Come on, Pete. No, not yet. Not yet. We got a little bit of time yet. You just gave me anxiety thinking I'm getting back on a plane going to Texas. I don't think me and Rich are heading to Texas until we got about 2 weeks. So we'll be live from the studio next week, I'd imagine, and hopefully we get one of those recent winners on and talk about their win. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's right. We will be at the Elites. Look for Justin and Riz to be at most of the elite events this year. Jocelyn, maybe too. So come by and see us if you're attending one of those elites. We've always got something for you if you're a Bass U subscriber. So make sure you stop by and see us at one of those events. It's going to be an exciting year. We're going to be at the Classic. Hope to see you guys there. Of course, come by and see us at the Bass University booth. We will be on the main floor because that's how we roll, Justin.
That's right. That's right. Come on.
Yep. So we've got a lot of stuff. Hey, it's really cool to have just me and you doing the show this time, Justin.
I had a blast, Pete. That was cool talking with those guys. I love hearing from guys like that, in Texas that maybe not a lot of us in the Northeast have heard about and winning big tournaments like that. I mean, that was awesome. And they definitely have something dialed in. I was really I was not expecting that answer when I asked about the practice. They do their own thing. They go their separate ways in practice, and then they come back together. That's interesting, and I like it. So
I like it too. If you can harness all that information and be able to harness it to use it for the positive, sometimes that can be too much information,
Yeah.
But clearly they're able to do it, man, and do it well, because you can cover massive amounts of water that way,
Yeah, definitely. And it seems like, they might not both have the same strengths. They like doing things a little bit different. And if one thing dies out, the other one can say, hey, let's go. I caught a couple here in practice. Dragon, like what ended up being a key fish for them. And that leads to wins and big belts and big checks, man.
No kidding. Like the Johnston brothers are doing. They're competing individually, but they're sharing information and waypoints and all kinds of stuff, If you can make it work, what a deal it will be. First, we got to get you into boat, man. What's your boat status? We've been talking about it all spring. Justin's, if you guys didn't know this, Justin's knocking on the door. Was ready to pull the trigger, then he backed off. What's going on?
Now that I'm home for 2 weeks, hopefully I can get one thing taken care of, and then go check out this boat I've been looking at, and maybe pull the trigger, and we'll see, man. Everything, no need to rush. You just gotta let stuff happen. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. That's how I'm looking at it right now. But we lost Pete, guys. It's just me running the show. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yep. All right. Hey, I just on a technical deal. It looked like is it my feed that's screwing up and dropping me out of the call?
Yep. It is indeed your feed, Pete. It is indeed your feed. That's all right. We were working around it. It went smoothly.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. I'm like, I couldn't tell if it was me or you guys, but okay. Of course it's me. I have the highest price internet that is available in my entire state, and yet I still can't keep a signal in my own house.
I'm in my fishing closet, and I haven't lost connection yet. It's crazy how that works. But when you were dropping out, somehow you timed it perfectly every time, because you would just ask the question and then you'd disappear. And it was just me. It was just me, but it ended up working out.
Maybe I meant to do it.
Let's pass you live without a couple technical difficulties, and we power through, baby.
Yep, of course. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. Thank you, Justin, and thank you. I want to give a shout out to Jocelyn and Riz and Jeff Olson. I know you're going through some stuff. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, buddy. And man, we all worked so hard. We had just a wonderful year traveling around with Bash U, meeting the greatest subscribers on the planet, having a blast, collecting content that you guys, I promise you're going to value tremendously, because it was just full of blow your hair back moments as we stay ahead of this curve, this learning curve, with the greatest teachers in the world.
Yep, definitely. And if you're not a subscriber, you can still sign up, and we got still a good deal going on. And it's our Crush City deal. I think it's the last day that it's going to be live. So get the winning baits, man, that Connell just used to put a whooping on them boys, and get signed up. You got to try all 5 packs of the Crush City, and get a Bash U hat with it. Get you in the door. We got some good stuff coming out, man. And I know a lot of people already watched that Milliken Big Bait seminar. Well, his live scoping seminar is just as good, if not better. So be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for Hunter Shyrock stuff coming, man. Cole Sands put on a clinic on his stuff. There's some juice coming, Pete. I'm excited to watch it again.
Yeah. Well, as we're working the events, I don't get to hear it all. We all don't. Yeah. We're being pulled in different directions, and you get to hear little tidbits. And I only I get to listen during the releases with everybody else and get the rest of it. And I promise you, it's going to help your fishing. It's going to help mine too. And I look forward to it all, and look forward to seeing all you guys next week, Tuesday, 11 o'clock, Bash University Live. Have a great day, everybody.